Okay, so how can I help regulate my students? So I would say when it comes to all populations, autism spectrum as well as regular ed, ADHD, pretty much any of the different diagnoses we're seeing, as well as typical children in classrooms have a hard time with regulation. So like regulation is a very big word. What does it mean to be regulated? So I guess the answer I would give is to be able to attend and focus. What would some of your students who look regulated look like?
So you can ask them a question and they'll look at you and they'll say what, not really fully processing, or you'll tell them to follow a direction and they're completely off base, and you can tell they're not there. They're not with you. They're not regulated.
So she's talking about the low arousal child, the child that's under aroused, which really, really sleepy. So a child that's not regulated is a child that can't focus and attend. So the description she just gave is the low arousal child, a child that's really sleepy, really unfocused. And our goal to regulate them would be to wake their body up so that they could be attending and focusing. The other child, over-aroused child, what might he look like?
Oh yeah, I've definitely seen that one. That's a kid who cannot sit in their seat. They're all over the place. They're touching every single thing that I have out on the table. I can't get through anything.
That's it, right? Those children, sometimes we take them into small rooms because even though it looks like they want to run and jump and get on the swing and the equipment, really, like, sometimes the best place for them is in a quiet, calm room with the lights off. But what I'm going to talk about a little bit today in some of my favorite treatment ideas is how to calm really the under-aroused and the over-aroused. So the under-aroused, sometimes by giving them sensory input such as brushing, lotion, and joint compressions, will wake their body up. And for the over-aroused child that's jumping all over the place, we're going to also give them sensory input almost to satiate the need that they're looking for. They're looking from their environment for information. So that's why they're constantly moving. That's why they're constantly touching, because they're getting information from their environment. So by doing the brushing, lotion, joint compressions, a lot of times what we do is we calm their bodies down and give them the sensory information they're looking for so that they no longer have to seek it. Today we're going to be doing brushing, lotion, and joint compressions. This is a great activity for children on the autism spectrum as well as typically functioning children. It really helps to regulate them when they're dysregulated. So many times I like to take off the child's clothing. We're going to take out a corn brush. This brush, as hard as you push, it won't hurt the child. It gives them a lot of sensory information. For a sensory seeker, we might do brushing really, really fast, and we should only make it last up to 2 minutes. If this is a sensory avoider, this is going to be for our sensory seeker, some nice, really fast brushing. And we see Sarah must be a sensory seeker because she is very happy with all this input. This is a lot of good input. Good. Now, if Sarah was defensive, then I would have gone with a slower brushing, starting from the shoulder and going down to the fingers. Good. Good. Now we're going to go from her legs down to her toes. We're going to go from the hips down to the toes. From the hips down to the toes. This brushing should last about 2 minutes. That's when the sensory receptors will take in the information. At about 2 minutes, our receptors will stop and we want to switch to another type of input. Next input. This is also very soothing for the child. And we could put on some nice calm music if we'd like as well. Okay, here is our, okay. So we're gonna warm the lotion up before we put it on. And we're gonna go from the top down and we're gonna squeeze as we do it so that the child gets some nice information. Does that feel yummy? Yeah, you like that, right? And we're saying, here's my legs, here's my legs, here's my legs. This is great, great sensory information to help the child know where they are in space. Now I'm going to do her arms from the shoulder down. Ooh, here's my arms, here's my arms, here's my arms, here's my fingers, here's my fingers, here's my fingers. And if you watch, she's processing that sensory information in her eyes. This is a great calming activity. Next, after this, I'm going to do joint compressions. Joint compressions, again, the massage should take only 2 minutes, and then we're going to move on to the next sensory input, which might be the joint compression. We're going to start at her toes, and we'll move up to her head. We're pushing in only and never pulling out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here's my toes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Next, we're going to hold proximal to the joint, which is the heel, and we're going to push in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Next, we'll do the hip. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you can do the other side. Next, we're going to do the hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Notice how I always hold proximal to the joint, right before the joint that I'm pushing into, and never pulling out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm only pushing in, I'm not pulling out. Next is the wrist. I'm going to hold right before the wrist and push in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Shoulder. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Feels so yummy? Yeah? Okay. Excellent. We could also do, for nice sensory input, squeezies. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. And children also like to be smashed with the beanbag. You ready to be a sandwich? Well, I'm going to make you a sandwich. Squeeze. Again? Squeeze. Another great sensory input is the vibrator. You'll ask the child to feel it and introduce it in a friendly, fun fashion. Do you like the way it feels?
Yeah.
Oh, is it okay if I put it on you?
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna go from the fingers right up to the shoulders and give a lot of nice sensory input. From the fingers all the way up. Again, this input should last not longer than 2 minutes. Next, we could go to the feet, thighs. Good job. A lot of children like to put it up to their ear to get some extra sensory input in their vestibular system. Our vestibular system is housed within our inner ear. Do you want to put that on your ear, on your cheek? How does that feel?
Good.
You like it? Okay. All right, excellent. Beanbag squishes is a great passive proprioceptive activity. We can squish the child in the beanbags to give them some very deep pressure. Good job. We might ask the child to lay on their belly and climb out while giving pressure. Can you climb out? Can you climb out?
Yeah.
Go, climb out. Climb